Hey there guys, Kate here, and today we are going to talk about one of the weirdest Roblox Limiteds because on the surface this thing should be one of the most expensive items on Roblox. However, once you actually start looking into it, the story gets really confusing. I mean, this Roblox Limited was a total failure, a complete flop by every standard imaginable. This item we are going to talk about today had a stock of 500, was on a 24-hour timer, and it was 100,000 Robux. And guess what? Only 35 of these sold. Ever. That's how much of a flop it was. But what even is this Roblox item that we are going to talk about? And we are going to find out why it flopped. And as much of a flop it was, it's still extremely rare today. But before we can get into this, feel free to like and subscribe because, well, I guess like and subscribe if you cannot afford this limited. Alright, so anyways, let's get into this story because it gets juicy. Alright, so back to the year 2016, which was a pretty good year for Roblox, mostly. So let's go back to December 1st, 2016, because that is when an item by the name of Void Rat was uploaded to the catalog. Now, here it is, but here's this YouTube video where this item was still on sale. And as you can see, it was on sale for 100,000 Robux, and in this recording it was updated 1 hour ago, so that means in 1 hour it only sold 15 copies. Now usually if a Roblox item only had 500 copies, that would sell out in like minutes, like under a minute, but this was 100,000 Robux, so of course it was not gonna sell out that fast. However, it even sold less than I think Roblox expected, because they expected 500 of this to be sold. So okay, I guess I was wrong. As you can see, 19 hours left, so this was in 5 hours. So it only sold 15 copies in 5 hours. Now, it's not a bad item by any means, but 100,000 Robux, not really good. But is the price tag the only reason it was a big flop? Well, I'm 100% certain that it is the only reason why this was a flop. Like, this is not a terrible item by any means. I mean, I don't really like it personally, but I don't think it sucks. Like, it's pretty decent. Now let's move a little bit further to when this sold out. Well, I guess when the sale for it ended, because this never sold out. This only sold 35 copies in 24 hours. Alright, so here is the item in 2017, February 2017, so 2 months later. As you can see, someone is reselling it for 200,000 Robux. However, if you check out the most recent price, as you can see, the recent average price for it was only 134,000, which is very, very low, considering this was 100,000 Robux. So yeah, it was very, very low considering the price tag. And as you can see here, it even dropped to 100,000. As you can see, it dropped to 100,000, so it dropped to the original asking price, which is crazy. That's how much of a flop this was. And then we can move on to 2019. This is 2019. As you can see, I don't want to say it's doing much better because it still only has a recent average price of 142,000, which is not good considering this was 100,000. Now we can actually check out, since the forums were still a thing, we can actually check out what the people were saying about it. So here is this guy, Alpaca Blade. He is saying, I know its demand is low, but it looks good and has a lot of decent head combos. So yeah, and he was gonna offer 90,000 for the Void Rat, which that's a lot of Robux, but considering it was 100,000 originally, yeah, no. So here in January 2017, the average price of it was 134,000. I think that's what this number means. I mean, this guy said it the best. It's a good head and has a lot of decent combos. Like, let me show you something. So the person right now that's reselling it for 35 million Robux, the Bane of all, has a really cool outfit. As you can see, he has a really cool outfit that matches it. So yeah, this is really cool. So the conclusion is that Roblox wanted to sell 500 copies of the Void Rat at 100,000 Robux per copy, which that's a lot. That's a little bit ambitious. So we can conclude that the only reason it flopped is solely because of its price. Like, I don't know how many people had 100,000 Robux. Well, in this case, only 35 people. So fun fact about the item, I'm just gonna throw this in. In late 2018, a guy by the name of Aim Locked hoarded almost all the copies in circulation in an attempt to make the item better than it actually was. And he succeeded. But then he was later terminated, which caused the Void Rat to become rare with very few copies in circulation. Like now, there are only 2 being resold, and there are only around 10 copies in total. So yeah, that's all about the Void Rat, one of the biggest flops ever in Roblox history, and it actually is pretty rare nowadays. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.